Hi everyone, thanks for joining us here at Floify. I see that people are still joining pretty steadily, so let's give this another minute or so and we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome to today's Tips and Tricks webinar. Today is November 24th of 2020. If you can believe it, Thanksgiving is only 2 days away. I want to start by thanking you for taking some time out of your busy schedule to be here with us today. My name is Drew. I'm a member of the support team here at Floify, and I'll be taking you through the company dashboard today. And just some housekeeping items right up front. If you have any questions, comments, or feedback about the company dashboard or any other functionality in the Floify platform, please use the live chat feature on your screen to reach out to us directly. I do have some team members that are standing by to address any questions or comments that you might have along the way. If you have a personal wish list or any recommendations for features you would like us to cover in upcoming Tips and Tricks webinars, please send your ideas to us through the live chat as well. You might be asking yourself, what is a company dashboard? If you happen to catch our webinar last month, we covered the different user types. There's managers who have their own teams and pipelines and have their own landing pages set up. And then there's support users who won't have their own pipeline, but instead are added directly to a manager's team to assist with the everyday tasks involved in originating loans. A manager and/or a support user can also have admin access to the company dashboard. If a user has access to the company dashboard, they can make certain adjustments to all teams under that company dashboard, ranging from basic settings like updating a company name or setting user permissions. You can enable settings and features like Floify eSign or Apply Now Copilot. If you're looking to pull credit in Floify, you might want to enable credit or a CRM integration. And if you're looking to get a little more technical, a company admin can work with the developer to build integrations to connect Floify with other systems, such as CRMs that we currently don't have an integration with, or Zapier integrations through the use of our API and webhook capabilities. You can even work with the developer to add custom CSS and JavaScript to customize the look and feel of the portal for you and your borrowers. The concept of the company dashboard is really pretty simple. When you make a change to a setting in the company dashboard, those settings then flow down to all individual teams set up under that company dashboard. For example, all of my residential people here, you know you have a big change coming at the beginning of next year. The URLA or URLA format is going to be switching from the Fannie Mae 3.2 file over to the MISMO 3.4. Now let's say your company is ready to make this change. In the company dashboard, you decide to go ahead and make this change company-wide. You go ahead and adopt the MISMO 3.4 setting. When you do that, the settings are automatically going to carry over to all of the other teams in the company dashboard. Pretty simple, right? How does an admin access the company dashboard? By now, you're probably familiar with this page. This is the pipeline view that you see when you first log into Floify. While I'm showing this page in the example, you don't necessarily have to be on this page to get to the company dashboard. You can access the company dashboard from just about any page in Floify. Now what you'll want to do is you'll want to locate your team name in the upper right-hand corner. For anybody here that's familiar with toggling back and forth between different teams, it's in the same place. Once you locate that in the top right corner, go ahead and click on that. You'll now see a pop-up that looks like this. The top line will state if you're a company admin, and you'll have the option to go to your company dashboard. If you don't see this option, then you are not an admin. You can talk to your current admin if you feel that you should have access to the company dashboard. They'll be able to add you as an admin if so. Now let's click to go into the company. This is the view you'll see when you're in your company dashboard. Up at the top, I'm going to cover the 4 different pages. We have your home page, company settings, VOI for our Veritex users, and the audit log where you can track any activities or events. The first page under the company dashboard is the home page. This is the page where you can view all loan flows under the company dashboard. You can view all teams, users, and admins. Let's go ahead and take a look at this more in detail. When you first go to the company dashboard, you're going to be placed on the home page. By default, it's going to open up the Teams tab so you can view all of the available teams. Now let's go ahead and work these left to right. Let's start with the Loans tab. Now this is what we refer to as an All Teams dashboard. This is where you can view all loan flows under your company dashboard for all teams. You can simply scroll down and you'll be able to see all activity for these loan flows. Per the usual, you can view any docs owed, any docs pending, or any docs that have been accepted for a borrower. Now, if you do need to switch into a particular manager's account from here, you can go ahead and click on the blue people over to the right, and you can switch into that particular team that this loan flow belongs to. The next tab we're going to talk about is the Teams tab here. Like I mentioned, this is going to be the tab that shows you all of your available teams. So you can have as little as 1 team, you can have 2 teams like I have here, you can have as many as 200 or 300 different teams, it doesn't matter. Now what you can do from here is if you look over to the right, go ahead and ignore the integrations, this is for our enterprise customers, but if you look under the action column, there's a few things you can do here. Now the first one I want to cover is how you get back into the pipeline. I've had a few phone calls where our customers have been a little frantic that they thought they lost all of their loans and they couldn't get back to their pipeline. So if you ever go into your company dashboard, how you get back into your team's pipeline is simple. Just go ahead and click on the blue people over to the right and you'll be able to switch back into your user's account and view your pipeline for your team. Now the next icon here is the pen and paper. This is where you can edit the team. Now, if you click on that, this is where you can go ahead and disable the team. By default, it's going to be checked because the team is going to be enabled. But if for whatever reason you need that team to be disabled, you can hop in and you can disable them right from here. Now, you'll still want to reach out to support if you need your billing adjusted because we don't receive a notification if you just simply disable. So be sure to reach out to support if you need your billing adjusted. The next icon here is one that I really like and we use quite a bit. It's the cloning configuration. So what this is good for is let's say that Drew has some settings that he's taken some time to go through and he has them just the way that he likes those, and now Bradley wants to adopt those same settings. Now what I can do is I can go into the clone and I have a couple of different options. One is I can click the checkbox up near the top here and it says replace all settings. Now what that would do is any clonable setting would go ahead and transfer from Drew's team over to Bradley's team. Now on the other hand, if I don't want every setting cloned over, I have the different options below. Here's template docs, fields, email, texting, apply now, milestones. Let's say that that Drew has spent a lot of time on the milestones. We can go ahead and click the drop down here. And I'm going to go ahead and select the milestones here. I just want to clone those over to Bradley's account. So we're going to say milestones, and it'll show you your selected settings here on the box to the right. And we're going to click next. Now the next screen is going to show us our available teams. In this case, I only have one, which is Bradley Broker's team, so I'm going to select it. If you have a long list of users, of course, you can always search through your teams here. And I see that Team Broker is selected to the right. Okay, I'm ready to go ahead and run my clone. So I'll go ahead and click Run Clone. And I can see that the clone has now been requested. Now here in about a minute or two, those milestones are going to be cloned over to Bradley's account. And now we both have the same milestones. Now the last icon here is for your team settings. This more so comes in handy for our enterprise users. Sometimes the company admins like to set certain restrictions as to what settings are available for the teams and users. And if that's the case, this is how a company admin can go ahead and click into that team's settings. So if you come into the company dashboard, you click on the gear icon. this is going to go ahead and open up the team settings page with all available settings. So that's how a company admin can access those. And you can see here we have template docs, fields, realtors, partners, all of the normal fields that you would see on a team. The next tab is going to be the users, very similar to the teams tab, except it's not only going to show teams, but it's going to show all users. And that's managers, that's super users, regular users. It's going to list off every user here on this page. Now, if you ever have a question about possibly who Anita has access to, all of the different teams, you can go ahead and click switch into user's account here, and you'll be able to see exactly what Anita sees when she logs in. You'll be able to see all the available teams Anita has access to, and so forth. Now, if somebody leaves the company, let's say Petra here left the company today, and I want to go ahead and disable her so she no longer has access. I want to do this ASAP. I can go ahead and click Edit User here with the pen and paper, just like you can with the teams. However, this way you can go ahead and disable a user. Just go ahead and uncheck that there, and you can go ahead and turn them off. All right, now the Admins tab. This is where you can view the available admins on the company dashboard. Now, in this case, we only have one admin, which is Drew. If you ever needed to add another admin, Drew can come in here. He can click Add New Admin, and he would be able to add any user under the company. It doesn't have to be a manager. It can be a super user. It can be a regular user, and you can give them access to the entire company. The next tab on the company dashboard is going to be the company settings tab. Now, you'll see 4 different tabs on this page. You'll see basic settings, apply now settings, integrations, and a developer tab. Now, this is going to be the page that we'll spend the most time on. And because of this, I'm going to go ahead and skip past for now and cover the VOI and audit log tabs, and then we'll circle back around and then wrap it up with the company settings. The next page on the company dashboard is the VOI, or verification of income. Now, this page is for our users who use the Veritax integration. If you're not familiar with Veritax, it's a service that utilizes the 4506T. It'll automatically get uploaded to the borrower's docs owed. Once the borrower fills it out and uploads it, it can automatically order W-2s and 1040s directly from the IRS up to 4 years old. Now, on the company dashboard here, with the VOI page, you can see any orders that are placed. Now, there is a cost to use the verification of income, or Veritax, and the cost of those will simply be added to your Floify bill. So depending on how many you run a month, we'll go ahead and add those together, and that'll simply be tacked onto your bill at the end of the month. And if you have any additional questions about Veritax, feel free to visit our help center, or you can reach out to support@floify.com. In Floify, we offer audit logs in 3 different places. There's an audit log available per loan flow. There's an audit log available per team, which tracks any user activity for any loan flows under that particular team. And the audit log we'll be talking about here is the company audit log, which allows you to track activity and events for all teams and all loans under the company dashboard. With the activity logs, you'll be able to pinpoint when events happen and by who. Some examples include how and when a loan was created, when a document was uploaded, accepted, or rejected, and who deleted a document request or a 1003. Let's take a look. In the audit log here, you can see that it tracks all activity and events that take place from under the company dashboard. Now, you can narrow down your findings by either using a key term such as your loan, users, or a keyword or document name, for instance. You can go ahead and filter by event activities, teams, users, borrowers, and you can search for a date range as well. So for instance, if you wanted to search for a specific event, you can go ahead and click the pick list here, and you can search for template document events. We have some team settings there, loan events, milestone events. So when something happens with the milestone, those are tracked in here. Specific user events. We have some team events in here. Quick pack, so if something happens with a quick pack or a quick pack is added, that's tracked in here. business rules. We have borrower events, layout events, all kinds of different activities. I have VOI enabled in my account, so I have VOI events showing on here as well. So that'll give you an idea of how you can search the audit log. So if there's ever a question as to who did something with the document, who may have deleted a certain document, just pop into the company audit log and you should be able to find that information. Okay, now that we've covered the company dashboard homepage, VOI, and audit log, let's cover the company settings. As I mentioned earlier, some of these settings may only be for our enterprise customers only, or for the support team to toggle on and off. So I'll do my best to cover only relevant settings to our business and our team users. Nothing against our enterprise users, of course, but typically enterprise admins have specialized training on the company dashboard. Again, there's going to be 4 tabs that we're going to cover. We're going to cover basic settings, apply now settings, integrations, and the developer tab. So let's go ahead and hop in. Now, when you're on your company settings, you're going to see 4 different tabs. You have basic settings, apply now, integrations, and developer. For starters, if you wanted to update or change your company name, you can do that from here. You can update your company NMLS, and you can also add a company disclaimer. The disclaimer is essentially fine print that would show on the bottom of each team's landing page. And for the country, at the moment, the only settings we have available are options for the United States. But as we continue to grow, we do plan on expanding this to other countries as well. DocuSign template placeholders. For anybody that is using DocuSign or has an interest in using DocuSign, you can create templates that transfer from DocuSign over to Floify, so you can use those in your needs list as well. Now, when using a template, you'll have to set a placeholder as either borrower or as co-borrower in order to pull those signers correctly. Now, if you ever need to change those for any reason, personal preference perhaps, you can go ahead and you can update those placeholders right in here. In Floify, we have state-specific forms for Arizona and for Texas. If you're not familiar, Arizona and Texas are a bit unique because they have state-specific forms they have to use for their pre-qualifications. Now, for Arizona, we have the loan status update form, or the LSU as everyone knows it, and a pre-qualification form. And likewise, for Texas, they have a conditional approval and a conditional qualification form that can be enabled. And then you can set expiration dates if needed as well. We have verification of assets and verification of employment through account check and the work number via Meridian Link. Now, if you use a Meridian Link credit vendor that supports these 2 options, you can enable that right through Floify to run account check and the work number right through your credit company. Instead of having to get signed up with account check or the work number separately, you can run and then you would be charged directly through your credit company for these. The landing page configuration. This is very similar to your team settings. You can choose if you want to make Realtor and partner co-branding available. This is where you can essentially create landing pages for your realtors and partners as well. And you can choose as a company if you want to utilize the calculators. You can either enable or disable those right from here. White labeling. For those of you that have Floify set up on your website, chances are you set it up from an iframe using the white labeling option. In order to white label Floify, that is so it removes the floify.com from your website URL, this is where that's enabled. There's also more available on this if you go to our Help Center and search white label. We have a whole article that'll list off all of the steps needed to go ahead and enable white labeling on your own website. It is required that you work with the developer while doing so. We also have password controls. You can set an expiration for your password, such as 60 days, 90 days, or whatever it is you choose. You can set a number of unsuccessful login attempts before a user gets logged out. And then if a user does get locked out, you can go ahead and choose a lockout period. So 15 minutes, 30 minutes, or if you want to wait a whole hour before that user can try to log in again, you can set those up. And then you have some other options here as well. These are all good for company security. For user permissions, if you were able to watch the webinar from last week, you remember the user permissions. This is where you can pick and choose which settings a specific user type has access to. For example, if I click on a regular user, if I click Manage here, I can see all of the settings that are available to them. From here, as a company admin, you can pick and choose which settings a regular user has access to. This can also be set for managers and super users. LOS settings are for our enterprise customers. Stack and send page. This is where you can manage the methods that LO teams can use the stack and send for their loan documents. You can see that emailing, downloading as a zip file, or downloading as a single PDF are already enabled. Milestone settings. This is an area we've been working on for an even better integration experience. Milestones, or status updates as some companies call them, are commonplace in mortgage origination softwares. We're finding that users get a bit lost when it comes to checking off milestones, so we're continuing to work with other companies to build this out further. We currently have this available for our enterprise users using Encompass. So when a milestone is checked off in Encompass, it also shows as checked off in Floify, so both systems are up to date. And this has most recently been added as an option for the Surefire integration as well. And of course, we'll be working on building this out further to make it available for other systems as time goes on. You have e-consent and credit authorization here. So if you ever need to update the verbiage for either of those two, you can do that right from here. Disclosure settings, enterprise. Floify eSign. Now, this is one of our newest features. If you haven't already done so, you can enable Floify eSign to send out documents to collect e-signatures. You can utilize this feature as more of a one-off instance to easily add documents you need an e-signature on, or you can create templates for common documents like a borrower certification and authorization. And then DocMagic and IDS, these are other e-signature platforms that can be used through Floify for our enterprise customers. So I'm not going to spend any time on those. All right, the next tab we're going to talk about is going to be the Apply Now settings. Now, for the most part, these are the same settings that are offered on the team settings. You can just set them from a company-wide standpoint as well. However, there are a couple of settings I do want to talk about here in the Apply Now general settings. So for instance, if I click Edit here, the first option that you see is you can enable Copilot in Apply Now 3.0. Now, once enabled, this allows LO teams to see and be able to take a look at the application with the borrower as they're making their way through it. We also have multilingual subtitles that are available in Spanish, if that's an option you're interested in enabling for your teams. We are planning on adding additional languages down the road. LO teams can enable automatic soft pulls. So if this is an option for you, you can enable it from here. An LO team will then be able to not only utilize hard pulls, but you can now utilize the soft pulls that are pulled automatically when a borrower finishes a 1003. LO teams can consent to a credit check on behalf of borrowers. And then I also want to cover LO teams can automatically approve loan application documents. So by default, when a borrower finishes the application and that prospect is converted to an active loan, the 1003, e-consent, credit authorization, and the demographic info are all added to the docs pending review. Now, if you want to, you can have those all go into the docs accepted if you'd rather it set up that way. And then other than that, you have your Apply Now 3.0 overrides, which are very similar. You can choose which questions you want to include and which ones you want to make required in your application. And if you do have a credit report integration enabled, such as Advantage Credit like I have here, I can go ahead and enable that. So that's now available for my teams as well. All right, now the next tab is going to be our integrations. I'll talk about a few things on this page here. So firstly, you're going to see under the Floify integrations, all of the available credit vendors that we have available. You can see everything from Advantage, Avantis, Certified, CIC, Credit Plus, etc. Now to enable one of these, you can go ahead and click the plus here and go ahead and install company level integration. Now, if one is installed, you'll be able to tell because instead of a plus sign, it now shows a minus sign here. So we have all of these credit vendors as well as the work number available through here. Then down below, you can see we have a couple of different CRM integrations. We have Surefire and most recently added Whiteboard CRM. So we have a couple of built-in CRM integrations there. We do have some LOS integrations that we work with as well. We have Byte and LendingQB for our enterprise clients. And then we have Focus IT and LendingPad available for all of our business users. Scrolling down the page here, we do have a Fannie Mae desktop underwriter integration. However, this one is only available to our enterprise clients as well. We have Account Check. So if you have any interest in setting up Account Check for your entire company, this is where you can go ahead and turn that on. And then down below, we have Dropbox, Box, OneDrive, Google Drive. We have a Slack integration. There's a Zillow integration. Microsoft Azure if you have an interest in backing up all of your documents there. And then we also have an Optimal Blue integration. Note that does not apply for Loan Sifter. Optimal Blue has acquired Loan Sifter, which I know a lot of brokers have them. We do not currently have an integration with them as there is no API available. So this integration is currently only for the Optimal Blue PPE. Now for our companies that want to get a little more technically involved, we have the Developer tab. Now this page is good if you ever want to build out an integration with another system, or maybe you want to go ahead and customize the look and feel of your Floify. You can do that from this page here. Now, firstly, you can go ahead and you can set up your own custom integration. You can click Create Integration, go ahead and put an integration name and a description, and then that's going to go ahead and send through to my integrations department where we can go ahead and enable that for you. It'll generate an API key that you can then go ahead and work with. Now for the CRM integrations, you can go ahead and set up webhooks for those. Again, you'll put an integration name and a description. And then down below, you'll have your different webhooks. Prospect started, prospect submitted, when a milestone gets checked off, mail, or when a text goes out. So you'll be able to go ahead and connect through here. For those interested in customizing the look and feel, it is required to work with the developer on this, as we won't be able to provide much assistance here. But if you do have an interest in customizing your own CSS or JavaScript, we do provide you with a place to enter that. This can customize the look and feel of your Floify, of your Apply Now page. Really whatever you want it to do. If you want specific colors, if you want it in a specific format, if you want it to look a little different than the way it does now, you can absolutely plug in your own custom CSS and set it up in such a way. Okay, that concludes today's tips and tricks webinar on the company dashboard. I just want to say thank you all for joining us today. And of course, if you have any questions, comments, or feedback, please send those to support@floify.com. Have a great day, everyone, and enjoy your Thanksgiving.